All right.
Hey
Hello.
Jay, how you doing? Or
Good. How you doing?
I'm good.
What's going on?
Yeah, I'm good. Is it Jay
Yeah.
or Ja?
Yeah.
Okay,
Jay.
Jay. All right. Okay, so welcome to the Inside Plug podcast. I'm your host, Destiny Hops, and today's guest is an actor and poet, Jay George. How you doing, Jay?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good. So let's start from the beginning. How did you get in your start in acting?
um. Well, back when I was in elementary, I did like plays, and middle school as well, and then high school, I did like I built stage. Well, I want to learn how to build a stage, do plays for theater, things like that. Um, and then in college, I started off as a criminal justice major. Then I
Mhm.
switched over to English concentration, so I did like a lot of playwriting, things like that. And so anyway, after college, I worked for a realty company, and one of the guys I worked with kind of knew my background, so they were filming. Well, they're getting ready to film Batman: Dark Knight Rises. This is back in 2011. So he's like, "Hey, you should go out for it." I'm not going out for that. It's supposed to be like 10,000 people,
Yeah.
And so I was like, "There's no way." He's like, "Just do it. Go early, so you know how to deal with the line, and shoot your shot." So I went. A lot of the casting directors there, and they're no, they're kind of looking at me. I was like, hey, maybe I have a shot, and they wanted nice sized guys for different roles, and so we took pictures and did a background about the movie, and then a few months later they gave me a call, from California. I'm like, who's calling from California? And I was like, hey, this is Jay. I was like, yep. I was like, hey, want to cast you in the new Batman movie? I was like, cool. So when I originally went for the audition, I went in all black. So I was trying to go for like a bad guy. I wanted to be. I knew it was about Bane, so I wanted to be a bad guy, and they didn't make me a Gotham police officer. They
Yeah.
made me a cop, so that threw me off. And so you know he said, "Hey, are you willing to shave?" I said, "Yeah, I'm willing to shave whatever you want, just to have the opportunity." And then that's like my start. I didn't realize how big of a movie it was until a lot of guys on set were from like different states, from all over. So I was like, wow, it's gonna be a big thing. And then once we started, we had to train for about 2 months to do our own stunts for the fight scenes. And so, once we got done training, we're in full costume and had the guns and all that. So that people look like real police officers. So
Hmm.
it was pretty neat. It was a good experience.
Okay. Um, and how did you begin doing poetry? Because I know you're a poet as well.
Yes, yes. I started in high school because I think it was ninth grade when my English teacher I had to start writing about it. Watched a movie called Romeo and Juliet. Is more of a modern version of it. So it's with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, and Drew
The
Barrymore.
player there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yes, yeah. And so it was more like a modernized Shakespeare type of play into a movie. So after that, we'd write like our own poems. I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to do this. At that time, I was more into like creative writing, writing stories,
Mhm.
because I was always good with that. And so after doing that, about when I went to college, I was looking at changing majors my freshman year, and so I was like, hey, what I like besides history, I like English. I like to write. So I was like, let me switch over to more of a writing centered class, type of classes, and so that's what I did. And then I had to take a lot, a lot of poetry classes, British classics, things like that. So one of my classes we had to do, which was intro to poetry writing, was and when the class would write a poem, then we'd allow other people to read them, and then you get their perspective of what you wrote. And it's very interesting because a lot of times you can write something, with something in mind or intent. Someone can read the same thing and get something completely different from it.
Okay.
So that's how I kind of got into it. The more I got, started doing that, I really loved it, and then I just went on from there.
Um, so you recently played in a role in a film called Done Waiting, Chapter 2,
Yes,
right?
yes. Last
So,
year was was busy year. I did Done Waiting too. I went from that. I did Praetorian in the summer. I did, and after that, I went straight into A League of Their Own, which is now on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
I went then when I was doing that, I did We Own the City in DC and Baltimore. That's for
Okay.
HBO. So I was going between Pittsburgh and Baltimore every week doing those two shows. Then I did Sprung as well. That's on now as well as one platforms you can watch it on, and so last year was busy. And then this year I've done I did what I did earlier. Earlier this year I did a zombie movie. It's called what is it called? It's called the what is it called? Something saves the day. Oh yeah, Hobo saves the day about a homeless guy tries to save humanity or what's left of it and fight these zombies, and I did that. And so I went straight from doing that to Mary Kingstown.
Hmm.
That's on Paramount on so you find out as well and watch that. That's with Jeremy Renner's the main actor, and he's the guy that plays Hawkeye.
Okay.
Avengers. So I'm in there with him, and I get to play. It was a guy's character named Bunny in the show, and he's like a street guy. So he's like a gang, and so I play one of the members in his gang.
Okay.
So
What was so are you pursuing more of acting or are you more into like poetry?
I'm pursuing both.
Pursuing both? Okay.
It's both. I want to use the poetry part for the exposure. Because live entertainment, things like that, is who you are, and the bigger platform you are, more followers that helps you get in as well, break in to the
Okay.
industry. So I definitely want to do both. There's a show in the late '90s called The Wire.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Baltimore. Hmm. Baltimore.
yes, yes. And so one of the actresses on that show was a poet,
Okay.
and that's how she got on the show because she's known for her poetry. And boom, put her in there. Her name is like Son. Come on, her last name, but she was one of the main female officers on the show.
Okay.
So yeah, she didn't doing well doing other projects and movies based on that, but she got into the industry through poetry platform, and then boom,
Are you,
so
are you from the DC Baltimore area?
no,
Or
no, I'm from
oh,
a place from Erie, PA, originally,
oh,
which
okay.
is about 2 hours north of Pittsburgh. That's where I'm from, but I went to college here in Pittsburgh, and so yeah.
Okay. So what are some roadblocks that you had to face as you pursued your acting career and your poetry career?
As far as acting, it's the same as anyone else. Is the juggle
Mhm.
of breaking in availability. 'Cause that's a big thing is when you're filming, it's all day. And so unless you're already made it, you're probably working a job.
Yeah.
So juggling a job and taking care of your bills and things like that, you have to do, and then also try to make yourself available for opportunities to be on, different projects, things like that, and then be willing to travel. That's another thing I learned as well. Don't just stay in your area, like be willing to travel for other opportunities. And so as you go through things, and if you get principal roles, a lot of times, if you get land some roles like that, they'll pay for your room and board, pay for traveling. It's a lot of times it's in a contract. So but a lot of people I met that break into it starting out, that are able to have the flexibility to travel and things like that. They usually have their own businesses. They own their own business, work for themselves. Otherwise they're working as a waiter, something
Nine
late
to
or a
five.
bar,
Okay.
yeah, things like that to keep your days available. Usually, filming usually doesn't take place on weekends, so you can figure if you're willing to work, you could probably really work, a job or two jobs almost on the weekends if you wanted. You just be busy, on the week,
Yeah.
and then weekends to be just work, 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 and then so it's a grind. It's a grind. It's a hustle.
Hmm.
It's networking. As far as poetry part of it, that everything now is more like a lot of times through like Instagram, as far as getting exposure and having followers and who are you, things like that. And then all other than that is meeting different people, getting a hold of your kind of hearing who you are and showcasing your talents, things like that.
Like the
And
like poetry. What do they call? Is it? It's not like stand up, but is a poetry night or something? Do they? Is there any areas where you can do poetry night? Is that how people get out
yeah, a
more,
lot of
or is
places
it just
have like
mainly social?
a lot of times have places have they'll call them spoken word.
Mm-hmm.
Say open mic for spoken word. A
Yeah.
lot of times that. There's also contests people do. They go on, contests. Sometimes you can win a couple hundred. Sometimes you can win, 1,000 or more, depending on how large the contest is. I mean, people are in there, so a lot of people do that as well.
Okay.
But I know, like in Baltimore, I was there not long ago. Actually, like about 2 weeks ago, I was just there. But they have a location where people come from all over the city and they do open mic. It's supposed to be pretty dope. I missed out on that. I was just visiting with some friends, but yeah, it's
Okay.
cool.
So, do you have any spoken word that, like a poetry thing that we can
Yes,
hear?
yes, I do. It's what I wrote, written not long ago. It's called "Choice is Life and Silence is Death." When we going to wake up? Body separate from soul type breakup. Grandma Maddie May used to call me Jacob. Go run, Trayvon, hold my gun. Our nation needs a red, white, and blue shake up. No more hanging freedom from trees. Everyday women and men from all walks of life strap up, head to knees. Put away blinding racism, toxic sexism. We ought to have a united cold pool baptism. LGBTQ is someone's mother, father, son, or daughter. It's even looking in the mirror, staring at me and you. There's more power in unity. Let's Red Sea wash away fears that cause us to be enemies. Too much dilated hate, keeping evolving minds changing escape. Wait, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. The walls to my chest crumbling down like Jericho, a dark place where a rape victim has become prego. They say a closed fist can be impactful while the open hand remains vulnerable. You can't ready whip passion yet. Temptation often delicious, horned devil pies. Whatever happens to naive youth dying on our neighborhood streets, leaving mothers with mournful eyes. We the people demand change. We the people need to no longer look at our neighbors strange. We the people must hold one another accountable to the hottest melting pot fire. We the people raise our fist and breathe life into voting polls before our voices expire.
Mm,
That's it.
wow. What was the creative process for that? Like,
For this one, I was asked to do a poem for the end event for awareness for voting,
mm,
and so I like to, especially any poem I do, I want to talk about something that's present, people can relate to. So obviously, Trayvon Martin, George Floyd, another thing is a topic is pro-choice, that type of that's so I put that in there. Especially more and more about, you hear a lot about the LGBTQ community, and things like that. So I wanted to make sure I acknowledged everyone, and say, hey, we're all together here. It's issues that are important to all of us, and then we can get them resolved. Is to stand together.
okay. Is that poem published somewhere, or or is it
no,
just
no, it's not published yet. It's something to add to the collection.
okay? So what's the good and bad about acting, or the everyday life of an actor, auditions, getting awards and things like that?
Um, the, the pros to it is, well, for one, like I said earlier, it's a grind. And
Mm,
so those that choose to get into it, you gotta love it. because it's a process. No one walks into this acting game and like, hey, I'm a big star, I'm making money, you know, we'll do X, Y, Z. It doesn't work like that. It takes years. And a lot of people who are big name actors or actresses now, they start off as an extra back in the day, somewhere. And it seems like at times that people have overnight success. Say, yeah, we're on a movie now, they blew up. But you forget, or even a lot of people don't know, before they get to that point, it took them 10 years to get there. They might have started in 2000, working way up, and then it took them until 2015 or later to make it. For those that make it, and then there's countless others that never get that far. There's people like that. There's also B movies, and so there's some actors that people see and okay, recognize. Okay, this guy's a star in B movies. Like you can think of Evil Dead, Bruce Campbell. He's one of the few guys. But other than that, like there's Elvira. That was more like scary movies or type of themes. For bigger in the '90s with that. But there's not a lot of people you can name on top of your head. So the biggest thing is just be consistent, not getting too down on yourself. It is a very competitive industry because at the end of the day, when we go for audition, you're competing with other people that look the part just like you. So you gotta be the part. It's being professional and so understanding and knowing your lines. And then other than that, just working on your game, on the craft. I watched an interview with Dave Bautista not long ago. He's a guy that plays in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's a former wrestler, and he's talking about how before he got the role, he's still going to acting classes. So the guy that's made it still going to acting classes. If he's doing it, what's my excuse? There isn't one. So you got to keep going. So that's the biggest thing about it. Is that the community of acting is for the most part is very welcoming. People are willing to give you tips to help you along the way. And it's all about who networking. So you see a lot of actors sometimes. They might even work with college students. Like I'm a college student, I go to Carnegie Mellon or go to Point Park, whatever. And hey, I have this film, and you never know who's gonna blow up.
Right.
So you build a good rapport, they'll keep, say they come big, they'll come back to you. Say, I remember you 2-3 years ago. You helped me out when I was a nobody, and then even Ice Cube, that's how he got his start. John Singleton was a college student. Say, hey, I like your music, love your music. I'm gonna have this script. I'm gonna put you in. He's like, yeah. 2 years later, after that, he made it. Say, hey, remember me? I'm that kid. Now I'm a director now, officially, big time. Let's go. So, and then you get like anything else, you gotta bet on yourself. A lot of people who are successful, people, a lot of times we hear, hey, in life you have to have a plan A, B, C, D. But the very most successful people talk about it's just plan A.
Just plan A, yeah.
And that's the reason why, because when you jump off, go off on the rooftop with no safety net, you're going to focus, laser focus. Like, hey, I gotta make it. I don't have the option of, hey, just safety net. I can make a mistake or two. No, it's go time. It's go time. So there's something to that.
Okay. So you worked with Batista and you worked with Hawkins, the guy from I know, is it Ryan?
As Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy
So
Renner.
Jeremy Renner on Mary Kingstown. I ended up working next to John Bernthal. He's the guy that plays the Punisher. So we on the city, I worked with him. I got to meet Channing Tatum from doing Foxcatcher. I was back in like 2014-ish, 15-ish. I got to work with Christian Bale, of course, Dark Knight Rises. Just different actors. Michael Beach, he's also on Mary Kingstown, so I had to work with him as well. And I didn't know I was going to work with him until we got on set. Oh, hey, that's the guy from Waiting to Excel. That's the guy from Lean on Me. he's been around forever, but he's a guy that he's a true guy. He's been around for a long time, so there's a lot of things you can learn from a guy like that. Then I got to meet D Smoke. He's a musician, he's also as an actor now. There's a show called Rhythm and Flow on Netflix. So
Okay.
so many years ago, he's on that show. He's on season one. He won this whole show, so I knew him from that. So when I saw him on set, I said, "Hey, when's the next album coming out?" He said, "Soon." But I think his latest album, he worked with like Snoop Dogg and some other people. But he's very talented and musician. But now he's been getting acting. He was on the reboot of Fresh Prince of Bel Air, and he's been on some other shows as well. So
Okay.
it's pretty neat. He's like down to earth type of guy because he's not hasn't got to that point where he's like super famous. Yeah, he's still the young, innocent, eager to meet people, even though he's kind of out there.
So
So
where do you see yourself acting like in 5 years? Yeah, 5 years.
5 years,
Yeah.
you know, in 5 years, I would say, um, working with Tyler Perry, working with him, um, doing some type of drama movies, um, and maybe even doing a movie that maybe a script that I helped write, you know. So yeah.
Okay. What else can I ask? Where is who actor inspires you within the industry?
Who inspires me?
Hmm.
um,
Or actors?
People that I like. I like John Bernthal a lot. He's the guy that plays the Punisher. I like him a lot because of what I found from working with him on set. That you see actors that he did that part really very well. Or he's very good at that acting. A lot of times they'll pick characters that are very similar to their own personalities.
Hmm.
So it's not really acting to the degree. It's kind of just being themselves, this exaggerated version of it, And so I say someone like that. Ice Cube, he's someone that with her music or writing, things like that, to writing scripts, doing his own movies, being successful. He also did action movies a couple times earlier in his career. So he got very fit. Did that, Will Smith, I'll say him as well. He's someone that transitioned from one thing to another and did very, very well.
Hmm.
There's people that, especially people of color, that you can kind of like draw inspiration from. Because one thing about Hollywood, don't always do characters with us in mind all the time.
Hmm.
It's just how it is. And so a lot of times we typecast playing thug,
Right.
the prisoner, things like that, not playing the doctor or lawyer. So you gotta like definitely don't box yourself in. Definitely keep evolving. Tyler Perry, I love his story. He used to live out of his car, and now he is like a huge humongous studio. I saw that when I was down in Atlanta over a month ago, and it's beautiful. And then he's giving a lot of people, young people, new faces, opportunities. You got to have your stuff together, but he's giving people a shot. And then a lot of Hollywood execs are going to use his studios. So that there's
Yeah,
that. He's like, hey,
heard that.
he's not gonna make a way. He's not gonna have a way for me. I'm gonna create my own way. That's what he did. So he doesn't have to wait on anyone to, hey, pick me.
And the
No,
Black
he's just doing,
Panther, I think that was shot
yeah.
on his studio. That's amazing. I heard the Tyler Perry Studios is larger than, was it Disney?
It's it's
And like
it's huge.
huge.
Huge. And everyone wants to use it. So
Yeah.
it's like crazy. It's like the fact that you know, he had the media and he had his fan base from that, and doing
Hmm.
stage and plays and traveling, and then when we went to Hollywood, no one took him really seriously.
Right.
He did a couple of acting, and still, then when he did roles outside of media, no one took him seriously.
Mm-hmm.
But he was steadfast and confident who he was as a person. Hey, you had the ability to create.
Right.
Can't take that. You can't block that. So he's like, I'm gonna just build, take my, do that, and he has what sisters is on Prime, and
Yeah, BT
does a lot of
Plus
yeah,
and
he's
other
on tons of
things.
shows, and
Whew.
even the one guy, I think the one guy on his show, on one of his shows, he's from Instagram. He's always
Right.
posting his family
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Instagram.
yeah.
And then
I forgot his
that he's
name.
following. Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so now they're
Easily or something.
talking about having a spinoff with him. That's crazy. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
wow, that's amazing. You know?
Speaking of social media, we're about to close in 3 minutes. Well, the first question is how can people get in touch with you? Instagram or social medias, anything like that?
Well, as far as acting, or even poetry or booking, you can go to cast CAST .JAI George at gmail.com. Now, as far as you want to follow me on Instagram, you can go to the official. That's TheOfficial_JAI George. You can follow me. That's all my acting things are on there, and poetry. So you can follow me. Also, I'm in a contest right now for called the Face of Horror. So you can go to Face of horror.org/2022/JAI. Please vote for me every day. The contest is going on until November 4th. The winner gets to do an independent film with the guy that plays Jason. With that, so
Okay.
I'm definitely trying to get in that.
Yeah. So my last question is social media. Now, everybody
Mm-hmm.
has an Instagram, and even some Instagram actors don't even have enough time. Well, so Hollywood and social media, where do you think uh the play what do you think what's your thoughts on kind of social media taking over with the entertainment and then Hollywood being up? Like, will Hollywood ever shut down? Will they have to um come together? Like, what are your thoughts on social media and Hollywood?
I think it's just gonna, like anything else,
Yeah.
evolve. It's just the way things are now. So it's gonna follow that trend. That trend's gonna continue, and a lot of things are going to be through social media. I mean, it's already changed so many years ago. Even music. Look at the Soldier Boy back in the day. It's like, oh, and he blew up. Now you have more and more artists like, hey, I don't need to do that. I can go SoundCloud or things like that, do beats, and then let them come to me. I don't have to go to them. And that's kind of how people do it. Like I think Chance the Rapper is still unsigned, right? Still an independent artist, and he's doing very well. So that's as far as that now is technology is always going to change, and anything else is going to follow suit. So yeah, the social media is here to stay, and it's going to keep evolving, and everything else is going to have to follow suit. It just has to.
Mhm. So thank you for coming on the show. You're listening to Inside Plug, and this is Jay George. And remember, vote for him in the what was the competition again?
Called Face of Horror
Mm-hmm.
.org/2022/JAI. Vote for me.
All right,
But yes,
thank you so much for coming on the show, Jay. And listeners, listen to the next episode on Inside Plug.
appreciate it. Thanks, Destiny, and take
And
care.
bye. Have a good one. Mhm.
You too.